Hi, I'd like to welcome you all to the first virtual monthly program of the Louisville Art Association. Normally our president, Helen Harrison, would be giving this introduction, but unfortunately she broke her foot and required surgery. So we all wish her a speedy recovery. An important part of our work is to bring local artists together for fellowship, sharing, networking, and mutual inspiration. Unfortunately, bringing dozens of artists together in the enclosed space of the Art Center for an hour is the worst thing we could do right now. So we're using our creativity and as much of our new modern technology as we can to accomplish the same things in the virtual world. Your board of directors is working hard in all areas to continue to fulfill our mission in the face of the pandemic. We have increased our board meetings to twice per month, on Zoom of course, in order to keep up with the rapidly changing conditions. Some programs, like Plain Jane's Being Outside, lend themselves to mask wearing and social distancing. Others, like the Drawing Group and Portrait Saturdays, seem to work reasonably well with teleconferencing. We are working with our workshop artists right now to find ways to offer skilled instruction via the internet. All of this requires us to learn new skills, try new things, and means a fair amount of trial and error. We ask you to be patient, give us constructive feedback, and share your creative ideas. Above all, if you have skills and experience in distance learning, teleconference and video technology, and are willing to donate some time to the association, please step forward to help us. Today we're providing you with some previews of upcoming workshops, some good news from our members, and some important announcements about our association. Enjoy.
Hi there, this is Kirk Fry from your LAA Board of Directors with a quick update on the status of the National Photography Show. As most of you know, we had to postpone the show from late May to early September, and our entry deadline was thus changed to June 7th, but we saw a very nice surge in the number of entries over the final few days, and ended up with 776 images that were entered. That's actually the most entries in any LAA show in the last 7 years. So we had entries from 180 photographers across 22 different states. So our judge, Jesse McLaughlin, had a big task in front of him to cut it down from 776 to 100 pieces that were accepted. I think it took him 6 rounds of jurying. All of the accepted photographers confirmed that they will enter, so that's good. Also, we had 4 LAA members who were accepted into this show, which is a very good representation considering how extremely competitive this show was. Those 4 members are Rich Saxon, Judi Dressler, Andy Schwartz, and Carol Walker, so congratulations to them. As you may know, we're running the National Fine Arts Show and the National Photography Show back-to-back at the Center for the Arts this year, running cumulatively from September 2nd to the 13th. So in order to run 2 national shows each year, which is really what all of us want to do, we need to have the support of LAA and their volunteers so that we can hang and staff the show 2 shows instead of having just 1 combined show. So keep an eye out for the call for volunteers, and let's keep our fingers crossed so we can hold some kind of reception for the 2 shows. Worst case, we'll do a virtual reception online. In any case, that's it for the National Photography Show. Stay tuned and stay safe. We'll see you next time.
I'm Janet Nunn, and today I'm going to show you how to get ready for our class. And we are going to be doing these wonderful crabapple blossoms. And one of the keys about this class is that we weren't using a brush. I'm just going to kind of prep you because that way it will be so much fun. This is the final painting that we're going to be doing. The things that I have just to kind of help out is when you sign up for the class, you will get a couple of things. One is a supply list of all the supplies, and the other is a step-by-step lesson. So if Zoom's not your thing, guess what? You can still follow along, and it will be really easy for you to do Zoom. So I just wanted to make sure that we were going to be totally prepared. Steve said, well, maybe we should just do a little bit of, getting us going. So we're going to do that. Now, I call this lesson containment. What I mean by that is we are containing the paint. And to do that, we need to mask off what we're going to do. And I'm kind of going to show you this. I'm just going to talk through this a little bit here, and then I'll kind of, in containment, it is exactly, we want to save the white of the paper. Now we're going to pull away. I'm going to give you a little preview of the first part. This is a bunch of crab apples. There are lots of branches and these flowers just burst out. There's not a lot of leaves, so that's why I love it. I'm going to take a palette. In the lesson that you get, so you have to sign up to get the lesson, I talk about the colors that I'm using. And you take string and dip it in the water just to kind of get things going. So let's just get that in there. That is absorbing. So what I'm going to end up doing is running the string right through here in a motion, very similar to this. See how it goes back and forth? And the string just absorbs the paint. So I'm also have a mister. This allows the water and the paint to react. And I'm just spraying. I'm spraying so that I have these little droplets of water, and there's also droplets of dry area. See how you can see that in there? That's what's so cool about it, is the paint, when it hits the droplets, explodes. And when it hits the dry area, it doesn't do anything. And it gives that random type feeling. Now, I'm going to take this yellow, because I said I was going to start with yellow. And I'm just going to give you a little demo on what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to come at an angle, and this is my paint. I'm going to come about a ½ an inch right in there, and I have the starting of a branch. Now I'm going to dip this into the quinacridone magenta. Come right here. I'm going to keep the magenta on the bottom side because we're going to have light closer to the top. Notice how you can just move the string back and forth. Oh, and every once in a while you get these beautiful dots. Oh my goodness. That is just blossoms in the background. Now we need some shadow in that. Let's just take that and add the cobalt violet. And I'm putting that on the bottom. So when the cobalt violet hits it, it's going to explode. Look at that. It's just so cool. So I have one branch here. It's a pretty stiff branch, but I can come over here. We would have spent all day getting these branches. And this is just so easy and fun. Now, looking at that, you're going, oh my gosh, she's got a mess happening. Yes, I do. And that is the best part about this. And I can show you what this is going to look like when it goes back. Okay. Did you notice how when I took off the masking tape, all those lines that were just right in front of your face went back? And now it looks as if I have these beautiful branches that are going to be holding the flowers that I'm going to make. And you know what? This is a to be continued episode, because now if you sign up for the class, you will be able to see how we're going to finish this and how we're going to get from here to here. Hopefully I will see you guys and it will be a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Judi Dressler, and I will be teaching a class on bird photography for the Louisville Art Association, and I invite you to join me. We will be covering the whole gamut of bird photography, starting with where to find birds, such as these cuties are 2 baby great horned owls. We'll talk about where to find birds and what time of year, how to approach birds. These guys I photograph from my car window, which is always a safe way to photograph birds because they're not afraid of your car as much as they are of you in person. But we'll also talk about how to approach birds in person. So let me see what else is here. We'll talk about about responsible wildlife photography. And we'll talk about the light. Light is very important as in various ways, what time of day to photograph and where the light should be as regards where you are. We'll talk about the scene in the image. Let's see here. This is a picture of a boreal chickadee that I took up in Minnesota. And I think the snow adds a little nice touch to it, don't you? Better than just the plain old branch. But we'll talk about what could make a nice scene and how you can, basically composition for your photograph. We'll also talk about equipment. No, we're not going to go into great detail about that. We'll talk about, what you basically need. Long lens is definitely one of those things for birds since they don't stay around. And we'll spend some time talking about camera settings. So we'll be talking about shutter speed versus aperture versus, let's see, depth of field and ISO, which have a very important relationship between them. So if you want action shots, such as birds flying or these sandhills cranes taking off, you have to consider your shutter speed. And also if you want to have more than one bird at a time in your photos, such as these, we need to talk about depth of field so that you can get more than one bird in focus at a time. So we'll also talk about exposure. So yeah, and then we'll briefly talk about how you can also make the best of your photograph once you get home and are working on your computer. So that's about it, and I hope to see you there. Bye-bye.